How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth here. So I'm going to talk about a game I have not really talked about much lately, and it is Jump Force. I think it's actually a game that's kind of fallen off of a lot of people's radar. So now, ever since I think the last trailer we got for the DLC characters, which was I think Grimmjow and Law, which by the way, I'm really happy Grimmjow's in the game, but why the hell does he not stay in his Pantera form after his ultimates or some of his moves? Or like, and why did they pick the freaking not say to 6-pass form for Modder? I didn't even give him his hair for create a character. Ugh. But anyway, that aside, they kind of said the fight continues in 2020. Now, obviously, it didn't 100% confirm a next set of DLC characters, but it kind of, I think, strongly suggests it. So I think, first of all, I want to talk about a couple, I guess, guidelines that I think they should follow that they're probably not even going to hear me say for the next set of DLC characters, kind of maybe bring a little bit more interest back into the game. Now, Jump Force, I know, is generally being considered a pretty disappointing game. Like, some of the stuff it's considered disappointing for may not be able to really be fixed at this point, or will take a lot more work that it would be worth at this point. But I think one thing I think most people don't like is the roster. I personally don't think the roster is bad necessarily. I do think it definitely needs some work. And then I think there's two guidelines that I think kind of help. That would kind of help at least, make the roster look a little bit better for people and maybe get them back in the game. First guideline is, for the love of God, no more Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, or Naruto characters. Like, there is enough of them in the game. And look, I understand. These are the three biggest series in Shonen Jump. I understand that. I'm not saying... I fully understand why there is more characters than any other series for these three. I totally get that. But there is now 7 characters from each series in the game. 7. Not to mention, but we get games for these series so many times. We get to play as these characters all the time. A lot of these characters don't get crap anymore in terms of games. And like, look, I love DBZ, I love Naruto, One Piece is okay, but and I do like some of the characters they chose from it, especially like characters that weren't in J-Stars. Which another thing, J-Stars only had like 3 or 4 from each of these series. It's way more reasonable, but still kind of got the point across. So definitely no more of these, please. The only ones I think that would maybe be tolerable, tolerable, would be characters that are really new for the series, like, the new version of Broly, for instance, in the movie, or like Goku Black, Zamasu, something like that I think would be okay, because they haven't been as many games yet. Or like for Naruto, I would probably say either Toneri from the Naruto, the last movie, or maybe, I guess one of the villains from maybe, main villains from Boruto, like, I forget, the guy that was the main villain in their first Boruto movie, and that's now in the series too. I forget his name off the top of my head. One Piece I don't really know as well, but like something like that would be at least a little more understandable, but not like Krillin or like Sakura. No, that we're done with that stuff. Forget about it. The only series I would be okay if we got more characters, a series that already has more than 3 characters, would be Bleach, and admittedly that is partially because I'm biased, because I really like Bleach and its characters. However, unlike the other 3, Bleach doesn't really get games anymore unless it's a mobile game, so I can understand this getting more, so at least the characters aren't as constantly used in recent games and all. We don't really get Bleach fighting games for whatever reason anymore. But that is one guideline that they need to stop with those characters. Like, until next game maybe, just stop, please. Then the second guideline I would say is they gotta at least, they have to introduce some characters from series that aren't represented in the game yet. This was, I think, another big thing people did not like, that there was a lot of series that didn't get represented, some that had been represented in J-Stars, some that were even represented in Jump Superstars, Jump Ultimate Stars. Because I think that's one of the problems of the game. It doesn't really feel like a celebration of Shonen Jump. It feels like, it feels like a Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and One Piece crossover, and I guess maybe Bleach too. But guest starring, other characters from Shonen Jump. I think that's kind of the main issue here. Now, admittedly, I'm going to make kind of a list of 9 characters I would want in a second season pass. And admittedly, it's not going to follow the second guideline as well, but that's mostly because I'm kind of a little weird where my favorite characters are usually the characters that are not the main characters of a series, and I'm also kind of, I'm more mainstream with anime and manga, so like most of the series that I do care about are already in the game. However, there will definitely be a couple series that are not represented, or at least not represented that well. That will be on my list of 9 characters that I'd like. Okay, so yeah, they're the 2 guidelines I think they need to follow to at least maybe kind of bring people more into the game more. I think a lot of people are getting tired of Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Naruto in the game. I think we get the point. So anyway, here are the 9 characters. If we even get 9, I don't even know if we're gonna get 9 like we did with the first season pass. I wouldn't be shocked if it's less, because I'm honestly shocked this game is getting a second season. I think it's shocking, not bad. It's just very surprising it is. But hey, if they want to support the game longer, that's awesome. The first character I think most would agree on is Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. This was definitely probably the worst omission for me. Didn't really help because we got him in J-Stars, so I kind of thought maybe he'd be at least nearly a shoo-in in this. He's my favorite character from my favorite anime, Yu Yu Hakusho. I see many people requesting him. There's no reason to not put him in. I mean, even I think he's a necessity. I think he's the most necessary character that is not in the game already, in my opinion. I know there's definitely a lot of bias there, but that's just what I've seen a lot of people request them. Alternatively, I would not mind if they did put in Kurama instead, just because we didn't have him in J-Star, so it'd be a little more refreshing to see in this kind of game. I'd be fine with that. Overall, though, I would prefer Hiei, and I think many others would as well. He is generally considered the most popular character from Yu Yu Hakusho. Alright, the next character is a character actually from a series not represented, and that is Alan Walker from D.Gray Man. Alan Walker was probably my most frustrating omission from J-Stars for me. It really didn't help that he was an assist character that was literally like, they revealed him, I remember, with Saint Seiya on like Christmas, and I thought they were both playable, but then it turned out Alan was an assist character that really bummed me out. I just think he's a really cool character. I haven't seen all of D.Gray Man. I think it's a pretty neat series, though, and I think I've heard it's become more relevant again because I think they started with new anime episodes, so I would think, I really don't understand why they kind of refused to put him in the game. He's definitely more relevant than he was back when J-Stars was around. So yeah, I think he would have a sick moveset. You know, I always kind of considered him kind of like the Exorcist version of Ed Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist. So I just think for me he's the most glaring omission of the main characters from a series not written. That's what I think. The next character would be Ray from Fist of the North Star. I don't know why Fist of the North Star only got 1 character. It's a pretty major series. I mean, it literally got a new game recently, so it's like, what the hell? And now, admit, Rao would be fine as well, and would be kind of the villain rep, while Ray is, I guess, more of a... I guess Ray is sort of maybe the Vegeta, arguably, of that series, while Rao is probably more like the Frieza. I think Ray would be better, because first of all, he didn't get to be playable in J-Stars. Secondly, probably the more important reason is because Ray uses a fighting style that Kenshiro and Rao do not. Kenshiro uses Hokuto Shinken, while Ray uses Nanto's Suchoken? I don't know if I'm saying that right, I apologize. But basically, instead of kind of more like kind of a punching, kicking, pressure points based style, it's more about like slicing off your opponents, which I think is really sick. So I think he'd be a lot more unique than Rao would. Not that Rao was a clone or anything like that, but you understand what I mean. But yeah, I think Fist of the North Star definitely deserves another character, and I think Ray would be the best choice. Okay, next up is a character from Black Clover, a series that I am really shocked to not get at least 2 characters. Actually, Jump Force actually got me into Black Clover, funnily enough. And I think the next character should easily be Yuno, who's basically, I guess, the Sasuke or Vegeta of that series. Not only is he pretty cool, and I want to say he's popular, I don't really know what the consensus on characters in that series is. I think he'd be very unique, as we don't really have a character that's primarily, like, really focused on wind. And not only that, but it's like, as much as I love Asta, it's like that series is all about magic and stuff, and it's like the one character we got from that is the character that can't use magic. So it's like, you know, we really should get someone, you know, like that. Alternatively, I would not mind Yami or Licht. Hell, I wouldn't entirely even mind Noelle. I think they'd all be neat choices. I just think Yuno would overall be the best and most reasonable choice. Alright, so the next character is a character that was in J-Stars that represents another series, and that is Medaka from Medaka Box. Jump Force, I get it mixed up all the time. J-Stars actually introduced me to Medaka Box, and I actually really liked it, and she is pretty cool. She is a very popular request. I think it was a very definitely glaring omission. I know her series isn't that relevant anymore, unfortunately. It had a short anime thing, and unfortunately they didn't continue it where the manga left off, which is a shame. But I think Medaka really needs to be in, and she is from kind of a battle manga, so it's not like she's a joke character or anything like that. She has some jokish qualities, but overall she's a battle character. So she should definitely be in, and maybe they could give her different form. I forget, it's been so long since I've seen it, because you get the pink-haired form in J-Stars, But that wasn't her strongest form. Her strongest form is she gets the black hair. So maybe they could give her that this time. Alright, so then moving on, the next character I want is actually another character from Medaka Box, and that is Kumagawa. Kumagawa was actually an assist character in J-Stars. I just think he'd have a really... I would just really like to see his moveset. I know he was touted to be like really powerful in Medaka Box. I think I'd really like to see what they do with him using like the double screws and I guess the power of like... What was it? Like power of like negativity or something like that? I don't remember. It was weird. I just like to see what they do with this character. I think he'd be pretty cool. We kind of remind me like sort of a Dachi or like Terami, like that kind of trollish character, and it would be kind of cool to see kind of a villain, kind of like that. So that's all I can really say with Kumagawa. I think he'd probably be pretty unlikely. Unfortunately, I think Medaka would probably be all we would get from that series. But hey, I can dream, and it's like he at least was an assist character in J-Stars, and we did have some characters get promoted from assist to playable in this game, like Hisoka, Rukia. Okay, so moving on. My number 7th pick would be another character from a series not represented at all, and that would be Dark Schneider from Bastard. I'm going to be honest, I have never seen this series or watched or read it at all. From what I've seen and heard of this character, I just think he'd be really sick. And I want to at least have 3 series that aren't represented in the game yet. So, yeah, I think he'd be really cool, and I'd like to see what they do. I would honestly read or watch the series. However, I know if I did that, and it would just make me mad that he's not like in one of these games more. So yeah, all I can really say there. So my next pick would be another Yu Hakusho character, which would probably be incredibly unlikely, but I would like Shinobu Sensui. It's cool, you know, we got Yusuke and Toguro, and we got Hiei and J-Stars. I really think Sensui needs his time to shine. I understand Toguro is kind of the most iconic villain from Yu Hakusho. However, I think Sensui is overall the best. I kind of like his design more, his backstory more, and I think his just moveset would just be a lot more interesting. Toguro is just kind of like raw strength guy, but I think Sensui would have a lot more versatile moveset, and we would have, say we got Hiei and Sensui, we'd have 2 heroes and 2 villains from Yu Hakusho. I would want him a little more than Kurama, honestly, but yeah, I think if we got Hiei and Sensui, I think that would be like the perfect representation for Yu Hakusho. If we could only have like, you know, 4 characters. Obviously, if we get 5, I'd say then throw Kurama in there. So then for my 9th character I would pick be another D.Gray man character. I would prefer it to be Kanda. However, I would also be fine and totally understand if they picked Lenali as well. Lenali is actually, funnily enough, part of the reason we thought maybe there would be some D.Gray man representation, because one of the female hairstyles for create a character actually kind of looks like her hairstyle. Unfortunately, that wound up meaning nothing. We still don't even know if that was meant to be her hairstyle. Especially because I don't think there was a hairstyle for like Alan either, who was the main character. So yeah, that would probably be my 9 picks. That's basically what I think. You know, I think if you know they want to bring some people back into Jump Force, I think they have to take a little more chances. I think with the picks, you know, not rely so much on Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Naruto as much. I think, you know, they got to realize that, you know, people play as these characters all the time. We see them all the time. Those series are well represented in the game. You don't have to try anymore. We get it. And you know, just, you know, have them more out there, like the popular picks that are just a little more out there that maybe not every casual anime fan knows. And look, I am a relatively casual anime fan. I do know a lot of these characters, so it shouldn't be that obscure. But I guess let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What kind of general, you know, directions you'd like to see them go with future characters added in Jump Force, or any specific characters you'd like to see. I guess let me know if you agree with my list or not. I feel like, you know, some people are probably agree with some of them and then really not agree with others. I know a lot of people wanted like Suna from Hitman Reborn and like Gintama or Gintoki, and they're fine choices, just not really my cups of tea. So like the video if you like it, dislike if you dislike it. It's a free country. Don't forget to check out my friends Mark Yoon and Mr. Anderson Plays Games in the description below. You can check out my Patreon if you're donating to the channel and help it out. I'm not begging for money, but I will definitely give you a shout out if you do donate to the channel. And if you like this video and some of my other videos, feel free to subscribe. It would help the channel out a lot. And of course, don't forget to ring the bell, because you know how YouTube is these days. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and as I always say, another time, another place. Keep being awesome.